What's up, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Heroes Chop Shop, the show in which we are going to present to you new and imaginary hero concepts that may or may not find their way into the game eventually. Of course, we would be very honored if that indeed were the case one day. With me, as always, my lovely co-hosts, Wolle and Tetcher. How's it going, guys? Wolle, long time no see, but we're finally back here at Heroes Chop Shop, and I can't wait to see what you're going to have in store for us.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for inviting me again. And I'm very excited for this episode because I had a chance to look at all the heroes, and each one of them looks promising.
Yeah, I hope so. I basically had a sneak peek myself as well, and I think we came up with a couple of nice concepts. At least they're all very different from each other, and they're all fairly unique. So, Tetcher, how has life been treating you, and how are you doing?
Life has been treating me very well. I've been streaming a little bit because I've been down in the studio. That won't be lasting for too much longer. I go back on Wednesday.
Yep.
So I'll be back to usual stuff, but I've been making some content that people seem to be really liking. But making some very beginner-friendly content, which is going down quite well. I have a lot of stuff planned for that. So at the moment, though, I've had this concept because the show has been delayed a couple times now.
Yeah.
I've had this concept just waiting in the backline because I made it I made it after Gamescom event in the UK called Insomnia, where basically I was just sitting down with Bakery and Snitch and just went, you know what would be cool? A thing that did this. And Baker was like, no, that sounds stupid. And Snitch was like, no, that sounds amazing.
So you got help from pros now.
I had approval from a pro and slight disapproval from another. So
Either way, the hero probably at least has like half the Dignitas seal of approval. So
exactly.
something not many heroes can claim to have.
No, it's only a third of the British seal now.
Nice. Yeah, true.
Back.
Athera Angel back with his British boys. Super cool. I'm looking forward to seeing them perform at BlizzCon, which is
Now I
actually
have a
not
team.
too far away anymore.
Yeah, it's getting closer. But now I have a team that I have to be. I now have to be even more biased towards Team Victuses. So I was already biased towards them because one, super cool guys, and two, Brits. But now I have to be even more biased towards them. Still biased towards like many of the teams as well. I'm terrible at being impartial.
This time I probably couldn't even be mad at you, even if I wanted to. But you also mentioned your beginner content that you were focusing on lately. And I have to say, guys, if you haven't done so already, feel free to check out Tetra's YouTube channel. You can basically find him on YouTube if you just type in Tetra, as you can see it on your screen right now. And he has done a fantastic beginner's video with stutter step micro and how you can basically...
Also, just so you know, it's also known as orb walking.
Yeah,
And
Mm-hmm.
another term, because apparently it's called different things in different games. I come from a StarCraft background where it's called stutter stepping. Apparently, if you're from a Dota background or in some cases a League background, it's called orb walking, but that sounds silly. It's stuttering your step, not walking on an orb.
Exactly. But if you really, like, if you always wondered, like, what this weird, like, stutter stepping is, or why people just keep on moving, attacking, this video is definitely the right one for you. But let's cut the chit chat, guys, and let's get right to the nitty gritty. This time we're gonna kick things off with Wolle. So I
Right,
can.
did we say who won last time though?
Oh yeah, we
usually
probably
start
have
with.
to do that, right?
I have not looked. Yeah,
I haven't looked
You
either.
better look it up, aren't you?
Damn, I haven't looked at it either, so that's going to be a little bit of a pain. I'm pretty sure I will be able to edit that into your screen while I'm taking another look at the video, so don't worry, guys. We got you covered. We're going to blend in the graphics as we talk. And
I don't even know what
we probably
my
see it
hero
right now
was.
anyway.
I think mine was Carax last time.
Yeah, yours was Carex, and I think it was
Yeah,
actually leading the
Signicious
race.
And it was Signicious,
Yep.
Carax, and your one, which I can't pronounce.
And we had Zoltan Kule, I think.
Oh,
So
yeah.
cool. That's
Yeah.
it.
True.
That was definitely a cool show as well. I'm just opening up the video as we speak, so we know at least like who won. There it is, and I think if we take a look at the results here, Carex won.
Apparently. Yay!
Carex won with 49% of the votes, followed by Signicious 32, and Zoltan Kole had the remaining 19%. You're probably going to be able to see it, or you have been able to see it already because Kendrick is a good guy and he probably edited in a couple of minutes ago already. So, yeah, but let's get going here, Volley. You will have to step up your game and not make last place again.
Right.
And if there is a hero that has what it takes to do exactly that, I think it is this week's hero for Volley.
All right. So my hero for this week is the Treasure Goblin.
Called it.
It's amazing. I mean, that alone is amazing already.
The creature is known from the Diablo universe, and yeah, for anyone who has played Diablo 3, it's the little guys that run through your screen, and you have to catch them because they drop gold, treasures, gems, sometimes legendaries, and
all sorts of valuables, like whatever you can think of.
Yeah.
You see that thing? You beat the crap out of it.
Yeah.
You want its stuff. You have made the new Murky. You've made the new priority target already just by giving it that name.
That's true. It has the same kind of annoying flavor around it.
Speaking of which, is it going to be similarly squishy to Murky, or is it like a normal hero in terms of HP and damage?
I think in my concept, it's fairly tanky.
Okay.
Because
Well, I mean,
it
they
does
are,
take a lot of hits, actually,
Yeah.
considering how quickly the actual heroes in Diablo wipe through actual
Fair
proper
enough.
mobs.
Yep.
The Treasure Goblin tanks pretty well. I have a different question, though. Can the Treasure Goblin ride a Treasure Goblin?
Yes.
Yay! That sounds good. All right, carry
That
on.
should
We have a winner.
definitely be an option.
Initial questions. There we go, out of the way.
Okay. So the trade,
Yep.
I was kind of hoping on the mana replacement hype train Blizzard has going on right now.
That is very true.
And I thought his trade should be the aspect of greed, and that's basically just that minions and heroes drop gold, and the goblin can collect the gold, because what is a treasure goblin without treasure?
So the first question that immediately came to my mind was, do minions and heroes drop gold upon death, or when they take damage, when they take hits? Like, how does it work?
When they walk?
They drop gold when they die.
Okay.
So the easiest way to farm gold is to kill a minion wave, for example.
Got you. Okay.
So it's quite a snowbally hero, because if you win a team fight, that's a crap ton of gold that you've just gathered off the field of battle, preparing for a next team fight.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not sure.
Could it be like the Butcher's Meat, for example, that minions only drop 1 coin and heroes would drop 5 coins, for example? Stuff like that?
Yeah,
that's how it would be.
It should definitely be that heroes drop more gold than minions. But also, minions should drop enough so the treasure goblin is not completely useless.
Okay.
So you would be fine if you just farm waves for the first team fight.
And I'm pretty sure we could...
Yeah,
go ahead, Teacher.
Okay. How long does the gold last when it's on the floor? Like, are we talking gem time, fresh meat stacks, globe stacks? So can you zone out the treasure goblin, or do you eventually have to leave and can he then just pick up the gold? Or is there the possibility of a big minion wave being killed and the person who's playing the treasure goblin lagging due to the amount of physics on screen at one point?
That's an interesting question, because in the latest patch, the globes have they don't last as long as they used to. So I think it would be fairly interesting if the gold wouldn't last
forever.
Not like forever, but like region globes.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
So enough time for you have to be where the minion wave died, or at least get into that lane fairly quickly.
And I was going to say, the Treasure Goblin probably has to be in XP range as well for gold to drop. So, for example, if the Treasure Goblin is in top lane, then gold can drop from the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe later on, the Treasure Goblin can get a talent that the radius in which gold is collected is increased.
Or gold lasts
so
longer.
he can poke in, grab gold, and then still get out without putting himself in danger range.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it.
That's very cool. Like, this trait already leaves so much room for, thought processes and how we could change it with implementing talents. So there's definitely a lot of room for mind games and all kinds of tweaks and stuff like that. I really like it. Why don't we continue with the Q?
Yeah. So the Q is called Time is Money, and because if the Goblin uses its Q and uses it on itself or an allied hero, that hero will get movement speed, or the movement speed will be increased, and it will last until you stop it or you run out of gold.
Yeah. That is so cool.
Okay.
Because it fits the description of the ability perfectly. I mean, you're running faster as long as you don't run out of gold. And of course, guys, when we talk about those abilities, we don't mention numbers too much, because it can actually mislead people and be like, and cause them to go in a frenzy. But I would imagine this movement speed buff to be fairly marginal, so nothing too major.
Yeah, because
can I just quickly say, can you deactivate it? Or are you just going to be burning
you
through
can
it?
deactivate it.
Nice,
Okay,
that's
cool,
a good
cool.
point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that you can time it a little bit. That okay, you want that hero to escape or to engage, but then right after that you want the movement speed to stop, because you would need the gold for your other abilities.
Mm-hmm. So cool.
Yeah.
So basically, the Treasure Goblin in-game wouldn't have a mana bar, but it would have like a gold bar that would slowly drain, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. So, do I get this right in the fact that the Treasure Goblin is going to be a supporty character overall, or does he also have other abilities that are more damage-oriented?
I imagined the Treasure Goblin as a support hero.
Okay, cool.
Because it can't do much on its own.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about giving the Treasure Goblin a way to attack, but then I thought, well, that's done to death, and why not make him a fairly strong support hero? Not in the usual kind, but more in the medieval support.
Yeah.
Nice.
But you already said he's quite tanky, so in theory he could be a fairly decent decoy. He's a fast-moving, tanky support character. So unlike most of the other supports, where it's we have this Malfurion out of position, we have this Uther out of position, they have to pop their own abilities to survive.
Mm-hmm.
This is, you've hit it, oh, it's still going, and it's outrunning us. Oh god, what do we do about this?
Yeah,
it's
pretty much a bait hero.
Yeah,
this is what I imagined. It's
like a Lily, like Tetra's favorite hero. No?
Yeah.
I do like Medivh.
And you see the Treasure Goblin, and it's the instincts from every Diablo player instantly pops in, and you want to kill the Treasure Goblin.
Get the Goblin.
Yeah, kill the Goblin.
From the Eternal Conflict. We had it in the show, in the event, the in-Nexus event, where basically you had the little Treasure Goblin that
so
spawned
Blizzard,
at the start of
the
the match.
skin is already in the
around.
game. Just do it.
Exactly. Just buff up the size a bit. I have another question just quickly about the gold gathering thing, the aspect of greed thing. I assume you visioned it where basically the bag on the back gets bigger and bigger the more gold it's picked up, as well as the bar.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes, there we go. And it actually physically drops the gold out on the way when it's running away, just shedding it. It's so cool in my head.
Yeah.
The visual aspect of this.
And then you make him ride the money pig, and then you will never stop dropping gold at all. You're just all gonna be bling bling.
The perfect synergy of mount and hero.
All right, Volley, we're ready for his W.
Okay, the W is called Gold Skin. That's actually a name of an item in Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the item, the Treasure Goblin gives the target, an armor that is just as much as the amount of gold that the Goblin has gathered.
Cool.
So if you use all your gold, and all that gold is an armor that just soaks up damage.
And it's basically imaginable like a shield.
Yeah.
So it'll come on top of the target's current HP pool, and it'll become a massive shield depending on how much gold you currently have with you.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a limit on how much gold you can have?
Well, I was thinking about it, and I'm not quite sure. If there's no limit, it would be kind of
level stuff where basically you farm all game and then have Butcher rush in and you just go gold. and
basically giving him a second life bar.
Yeah, exactly. I think you might have to have a cap on
Yeah,
that.
there would be a cap on it, I guess. Yeah. And also, once again, if you take a second look at the visuals here, you cast Goldskin on your target, and that target becomes golden. Like, it literally has a golden layer on it on itself. So the Butcher would turn to a golden slaughterer, and it would be glorious. It would be absolutely cool. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, it's a simple ability, but it could be fairly effective because the Goblin doesn't have a healing
Right.
in the normal kind of way, and I will come to that with the next ability, the E.
Go ahead.
It's called Globe Hoarder, and it's just that the basically the Treasure Goblin drops 2 regeneration globes. Just where it stands. And
can it pick them up? Because if it's where it stands, shouldn't they automatically just go just straight into the Treasure Goblin?
Yeah, it has a.
They probably go like boing boing and right next to him, something like that.
Yeah, right next to him.
And
I imagine it with a short delay, so it wouldn't pick it up, or in a certain radius. So
yeah. So I'm gonna. All right, so this is a very important question because when I saw this hero, I only thought about the gold skin thing just now. When I saw this hero to start with, this is the ability that my mind immediately went, "Oh my god, this is so abusable." What's the cooldown on this ability estimate? Because we don't deal with absolute numbers in this, give or take, because it could be humongously abusable. I present to you the ETC level 1 talent, the Prog Rock, where for every globe he picks up, he increases his healing by 3, which combines with groupies. So you just play all game just following around the Treasure Goblin, where he's just like, ETC globes, and he's like, cheers.
So to make the ability kind of viable and not too broken, it should be at least like how much time 1 minion wave
that's
needs to reach.
That's exactly what I was saying.
It's a good rule of thumb. Or maybe even 2 minion waves because it spawns 2 region globes.
I think 1. It's an ability that should be abused in some way. Also you shouldn't punish heroes for having a unique skill set.
Yeah.
This is a way that you basically have to punish heroes instead of denying them the minion wave. You have to maybe try and zone out the hero, or make it so that they have to rely on those regen globes because they don't have the general healing instead.
Now here's my twist to it, Volley. Let's make it purple regeneration globes, and everybody can pick them up, enemies included.
In that case, I agree with the two minion waves.
This would add to the baiting factor.
Yeah.
Extremely. Oh, this
is like a globe dead.
Yes.
Ganked.
Definitely.
And then you have a talent maybe later at level 16 or whatever that turns those purple globes into green ones that can only be used by your team.
That sounds really cool.
This is really cool, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's already so much potential for. Yeah.
Is there a name for those purple globes, or are they just literally purple regen globes?
I think they're called purple regen globes.
Just purple regen globes.
Yeah.
Blizzard's really good at naming, guys.
Let's call them neutral regeneration globes.
Neutral globes. See, that's cooler. Yeah, that sounds way better.
No, definitely very straightforward, but yet it adds so much spice and so much tension to his kit.
The hero very powerful with mages, because regen globes also provide mana. So it makes it really strong with them. Like, combine that with a Li Ming with power hungry, you can give her that extra 10% ability power at basically on command. Just like, enemies here, give me globes, disintegrate, get the extra damage off, full combo.
Exactly.
That combos really well with a lot of heroes. It's really cool.
Yeah, and well, the most of the region master talents are not that strong at the moment, but I was thinking I did play a lot of ARAMs, and you can abuse the spawning globe places, and by the end of the game you get so tanky, you have so much regeneration that it's kind of hard to kill you. And I was thinking about that when I thought of this talent. So
I do it on I've been doing it on Braxis Hold'em. Like my go-to ETC build on the smaller maps is the prog rock into groupies, and Braxis Hold'em has the globe spawners at the top and the bottom. So I've been doing exactly that and massively abusing it. This Goblin, the idea of following it around and just go, oh shit, I'm engaging, shield me. I'm disengaging, give me globes. I must shield. I must heal everyone.
And to be quite honest, I mean, this alone can actually make the Treasure Goblin at least have viable as a solo support, because if you take into consideration how strong Regen Globes by now have become, it's actually not too bad. And combine that with a strong shield, comparable to Tassador's Plasma Shield maybe, I think he has what it takes to literally become one of the coolest and most innovative support heroes in the game.
Yeah, true.
It's what we said before. Like every time we bring a support to the table, any of us, we always make the same argument of what the pros say, and that is, outside of a couple exceptions, supports are a little bit one-dimensional. This brings a very unique aspect of a tanky support that is very much an empowerer as opposed to a physical just heal bot. You are technically a globe bot, but you are also physically acting on the fight, giving your team the speed when they need it, giving your team a shield, which is a physical fight activator and a physical protection ability.
And the aspect of greed adds another component to it as well. You're not just focused on healing and shielding, but you also have to farm. Like, you have to farm the gold, you have to make sure that you never run out of it. So yeah, let's talk about heroic abilities here, Volley. I can't wait to hear what you've got in store.
The first one is simply called the Vault, because the vault is where all the goblins, where they live.
Yep.
And it's the ability is kind of, it opens a portal, and you're going through the vault, and you are taking a shortcut. You will not see it, but in my mind, it's how it works, and you will end up in the Hall of Storms.
Okay.
So
can you go back?
Yeah, it's a portal back.
No, amazing. Can you go back through the portal to where you started?
Yes. It works both ways.
Okay.
That's okay. How long does it last?
Well, maybe shorter than Medivh's portals.
Okay, that is better. So you have enough time to. All right, and the other important question: do you get the health explosion buff you get when you be back, or is it simply the passive healing? You just appear in the Hall of the Storms, you get the passive healing, and then you can go back through the portal if you're quick enough.
I think this should be a talent that you can skill, that you get the buff like when you port back. But you will just get the normal.
Yeah, like the 20 talent could be, it lasts longer and you get the immediate buff or the immediate healing increase, right?
Someone else just brought up a very good point. Soldier1851 in the chat. Can you go through the portal if you didn't go through the original portal? Like if you just respawned and that portal's open, can you run through it?
Yeah,
I would assume so, yeah.
That's cool. I love that. That's really cool. Just like, guys, wait for 5. Have no fear, for I am the Treasure Goblin. Vault. Sonia's here, guys. Let's go.
And also, I think
back as Morales purely to pick up your teammates in the medevac and bring them back to the fight.
I think it's also important to determine, like, how does it work in terms of range? Is it a global? Or does the Treasure Goblin has to be? Does it have to be close to it, or like what's the casting range? How does it work?
It's global. You activate it, and right where you stand, there's a portal, and at the same time, a portal at the Hall of Storms opens.
Okay, so
I assume it's only a friendly use.
Yeah.
Okay, so the enemy team can't just go through it, get catapulted out of the hall, and hit your core.
You don't want to misclick on that one.
This is not where I want to be. Let me back in.
Maybe there should be a channeling time to balance it a little bit. So let's say
it's not just a get out of jail free card where literally, we're backdooring their core, but we're not going to win. Everyone through the portal.
It definitely shouldn't be an instantly clickable portal like Medivh, because that would be insane.
So that you can interrupt it. You can basically interrupt the Treasure Goblin in Diablo 3.
Yeah.
When you stun him, he can't go through his portal. And this should be like that.
I like it.
Cool. I like it.
You could even say something like, if that portal turns out to be super OP or broken, you could be like, you can destroy the portal. You just have to hit it multiple times, and then it'll collapse.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, there's a lot of ways to tweak it, and I definitely like it. I think we could all...
I just like the idea of teleporting allies from the Hall of the Storms. That's the bit that excites me the most. Not like the health and mana you get back. Just the fact of, we need our healer in the fight.
Yes.
We need our healer in the fight. We need our tank. Just teleport them to us. That's brilliant.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think if at the release of Medivh, people were not quite sure how to use the portals, I think this portal is pretty much... It explains itself.
I assume you want it to be giant and to be able to see through it. So
yes.
There you go. I like that.
Cool. What about the second one? Can it even get better than this?
I'm not sure if it can get better than this, but I really like it. It's called the Malevolent. I'm not sure if I pronounce it correctly.
Tetra, help us out here.
Tormentor.
The Malevolent.
All right, gotcha.
Okay.
Is that a name of an item, or where did you get the name from?
I believe it's an item.
That's the name of the goblin that drops legendaries.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Cool.
The glow powder is also a name of the of a goblin type.
Drops the health things.
Yeah, and basically you drop a legendary because who doesn't like legendaries? And for a short amount of time, your basic stats will be buffed, or the
ally that picks it up.
The person that picks it up. Yeah.
Ally that picks up the legendary gets their basic stats will get buffed.
Oh my god, I'm going to report my teammate because he stole the legendary from me.
He picked up the Aegis. I wanted the Aegis.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just buffs everything. Health regen, health, damage.
Yes.
Okay.
Attack
So
speed.
is it a random legendary? Does it look different each time? Like just a Diablo-themed weapon? And does it change the appearance of the hero?
Well, yeah, it should. Yeah, I think it should be a random legendary, and it should make the exact same sound and the golden sphere in the sky. And what was your second question?
Basically, if say it's a sword, say it's a legendary sword. If I was to pick up said sword with Murky, will Murky be holding the sword? And how does that work with Abathur? Can I have Battlefer? If I pick up a sword and have all my stats buffed, will Abathur be at the level of a normal hero be able to duel?
I'm gonna say yes.
Yay!
And how long does this buff last?
Well, since it's only the basic stats, it should be a longer buff. Let's say 10 seconds. Maybe.
I think that's fair enough. I think you need enough time for it to really stick through a team fight, maybe. So you should be able to.
I assume if the hero with it dies, it's gone. Someone else can't pick it up. Okay.
That's good.
Oh, that would be nice. If
it would be nice, but potentially broken because then your team would just pass it from person to person. You just stick it on Tyrael every time, let him explode, and then let your actual damage dealer pick it up. Because Tyrael will get the bone. It buffs all stats, including ability power. So Tyrael would just go in and blow up on them and just do huge damage.
Okay, yeah, it's quite abusable. That's true.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
Maybe not passing, but you could still get the one hit out of it on someone like Tyrael, for example. So it would still be cool and still have synergy there. So I like the idea of it dropping on death, but yeah, I like it. I think that sounds super cool. I want my Battlefer. I don't know how it will look because if you think of like the Halloween Abathur, for example, he doesn't have hands. He has tentacles. So I'm curious as to how that would look, just like wrapped around the sword, like trying to hold it, just flailing.
I just want Dehaka to pick it up and have it on his little weak arm.
His little arm.
Look at me. This is my strong hand. I hold the sword in it. I'm trying to think who else would be silly with that. I'm just gonna have a look at Hero as well. You can, while we do final thoughts on that.
I mean, just imagine Tracer picking it up and becoming a huge, humongous Tracer.
Yeah.
With unkillable HP.
Oh wait, does it increase the size of the hero as well?
Ooh.
That could
Or
be
they
a
hold
thing,
it.
I guess.
I think that
Yeah.
would be a thing. Giant Murky. Oh, does it buff all the Vikings or just a singular Viking who
Ooh,
picks
that's
it
a
up?
good one.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I would assume it only buffs the Viking that picks it up.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Okay, and also there's what you say every stat. Does that include movement speed?
Is movement speed a basic stat? It
Yes.
is.
If you hit C,
It is.
you can see. If you hit C, that's
Yeah.
all your basic stats basically in try mode or in regular mode actually. And movement speed's on there.
I mean, you
Oh.
could still specify it and say all offensive basic stats, all defensive basic stats.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, then why we already mentioned it could be a random visual item. So, in theory, if you wanted to make it more complicated, this is just I already like it how it is. But if you wanted to make it a bit more complicated, you could, in theory, have it where the item it drops affects different stats in different ways and gives a bigger buff. So it drops, say, a sword, it affects the attack damage stat.
Mhm.
It drops a chest plate, it affects health and health regen and stuff like that. So you could make it
Yeah.
a bit more complicated
Yeah.
that way. Misha dual wielding Thunder Fury. Yeah, can Misha pick it up? How's that work? She has a sword, just holds it in her teeth.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, Treasure Goblin definitely won my heart already, and
I agree. I love it.
it's definitely a fun hero, but by the same token, it is also a hero that I can see work in competitive or more competitive games too. I mean, it's not just a gimmicky hero like Murky currently is, where you don't get to see him in the upper echelons of competitive play at all. But I really think that Treasure Goblin, man, the amount of different ways to play him, more defensively, more baity if you want to bait enemies into picking up globes, for example. It's absolutely cool, absolutely amazing, and I like it.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad you like it. It's,
I'm pretty sure the people watching there on YouTube and Twitch, they're loving it as well. Because let's be honest, who does not like Treasure Goblins?
You had me at stacking goblins, just one on top of the other. You had me at that, just that sentence.
All right, and I'll be the next person to introduce their concept, and it's already going to be super tough to compete with that. So thank you, Wale, for putting up some good competition. And yeah, my hero is going to be Taran. I hope I pronounced that correctly because I'm not fluent in Chinese. I'm just going to call him Taran. And he is the Lord of the Shadowpan. If you haven't played Mists of Pandaria in World of Warcraft, there is a Pandaren race, and they consist of several, you know, factions, if you will. And the Shadowpan, they are like ninjas. They are hidden, and they're acting in secrecy, and nobody really knows who they are, where they go, where they came from. So yeah, Taran is actually one of the first Pandaren, or important Pandaren, that you get to know when you play the expansion. So definitely recommend checking that one out. And unlike Chen or Lily, who are more like humorous, and they're very funny and not really that serious, like Taran is a
wanderers,
very
aren't
serious
they?
one. Excuse me?
Lily and Chen are more wanderers, basically. They're explorers.
Yeah,
more of a
exactly,
thing,
yes.
whereas Taranju actually belongs to an order.
Yes,
Actually
he belongs-
has a very big part in the land.
Yeah, and he is not really fond of the Alliance and the Horde settling at Pandaria. He basically wants to keep the island isolated, and yeah, there's actually a lot of cool lore around the Pandaren, so definitely check that out if you have the time. For now, though, I wanted to create a melee assassin that is basically very mobile and very hard to catch. Almost Tracer-esque, but not as annoying as Tracer, I hope. So the trait is called Chi. And Chi, of course, is the form of energy or force that he's using as his resource. So similar to Volley, I didn't go for a normal mana hero because that would be boring and Blizzard doesn't do it themselves anymore. So
I feel left out now.
So pretty much like the monk class in World of Warcraft, Taran will regenerate energy automatically until it's, you know, at 100% and you spend it. By the same token, you can also build up chi points by spending energy. So you use an ability that takes energy and you build up chi points, you use chi points, and then you have to use energy again to build them up again. Might sound a little bit complicated, but it really isn't. Chi points are needed to cast heroic abilities and his Q ability called Chi Torpedo. Chi points also slowly vanish if you're out of combat, so you couldn't run around fully stacked with a lot of chi points and then spam it all as soon as you meet an enemy. So you need to build them up every single time a new fight breaks out or a new team fight takes place. So that is that. So not only do you have to manage your energy household, but you also have to take a look at how many chi points you currently have. Here again, I don't really name any numbers because I don't know, do you need 10 chi points to make it balanced, or 20 or 12? So we're just gonna keep that in the back of our hand or heads that we don't know the exact chi point numbers.
Whatever you're thinking of in your head, audience, it's probably correct.
Exactly. So the Q is called Chi Torpedo, and this ability, as I pointed out earlier, requires Chi, so you can't spam it infinitely. It causes Taranju to dash towards the target direction, and during the dash, he is unstoppable and damages enemies in his way. Wouldn't really deal a whole lot of damage, and I think the range of the dash is comparable to Vala's Vault, I would say. So it's not super long, it's not super short either.
Yeah, you already said he's a melee assassin, so he's already hopefully going to be in range. So very similar to Illidan's dash, but not interruptible.
Exactly. And if you have no idea what the monk in World of Warcraft looked like, it would literally be like you would dive in and basically, Volley, you want to say something?
No, he was reacting to the chat, which you'd already fixed.
All right, cool.
It's about to happen on stream, and I'm excited.
So it would literally be like a torpedo, and you turn around in a horizontal way. It's hard to describe, but
so he fires himself.
Exactly,
backwards?
he fires himself towards the location.
That's kind of cool. So he literally butt bounces them for damage.
Yes.
That's definitely a Pixar level of fighting that you have there in panda form.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely not from a pre-existing Jack Black vehicle.
And the chi cost would be fairly medium size, I would say. So you couldn't spam Chi Torpedo all the time like Tracer can use her dash, and become a real menace. You would actually have to farm a couple of chi points in order to use that. But it wouldn't be too hard either. Then his W is called Tiger Strike. And Taranju resets his basic attack animation and immediately strikes his target, applying a damage over time effect. So this would be a very, very little damage over time effect because I want this ability to be fairly low cooldown. So it would maybe be, 20 damage at level 1, and that goes off over 2 seconds or stuff like that. So it'd be really marginal, but I want Tiger Strike to be one of the main chi points generators. So low cooldown allows him to attack fast. You can also give him low basic attack damage if you want to make him strike fast like a monk does in all those Bruce Lee movies and stuff like that. So that was basically the idea behind it.
Cool.
And I think we don't really have too many reset abilities or basic attack resets in Heroes of the Storm, do we?
None I can think of off the top of my head. None that will do it automatically. There's some that will reset attacks just by being the ability in that way, but there's none I know of that will actually physically reset the attack. Does Wind Fury reset the attack?
Wind Fury does. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. So you go whack Wind Fury, whack, whack, whack. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's the only one I can think of, top of my head.
It would actually work in a pretty similar way, only that he doesn't get like 3 attacks like Thrall does, but just one, adds a little bit of a dot, and then has it ready in 2 seconds, or like very, very short cooldown. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to generate enough chi points anyway.
Yeah, someone just brought up Frostmourne Hungers.
Very true.
Very good example of that. Yeah. That's probably the best comparison.
Yeah, I would agree. All right. So next is his E ability, and that one I found pretty cool. It's called Into the Shadow, and it can be activated to throw a smoke bomb at Taranju's current location. And for the next 1 second or so, could be 1.5, could be 2 seconds, Taranju becomes untargetable and invulnerable. So you basically don't see him. There's only a little smoke screen around him, and you can't really see where Taranju is. And within a short time window, you can click on a nearby enemy hero in his vicinity and strike from the shadows and damage them for a tiny little amount.
How nearby?
I would say it's probably as Karazim's dash radius.
Okay.
Could be a little bit shorter.
You said untargetable.
Yep.
Does that still mean he could be hit by AoE abilities?
Exactly. No, he's invulnerable.
Invulnerable. Okay.
I was thinking of making him become hittable by AoE abilities, but then I think it would be too easy to actually hit him and burst him down while he's basically trapped in the smoke screen.
Yeah. So yeah, invulnerable can't be stunned either. You can't stun him out of
you basically don't see him. There's only a small cloud of smoke.
Okay.
It's a very short time window, though.
In an area where he is, but not exactly.
Exactly. And it is a very short time window, so you actually can't just sit in your smoke bomb and be like, okay, I'm just gonna wait until the target that I really want to hit comes close. No, you have a 1 second time window and you have to hit something, otherwise you don't get any value from the ability other than the protection that it offers.
Cool.
And I think this ability would probably have a longer cooldown. It's not like something you can spam and this way turning Taran into a very annoying and frustrating hero to play against.
Yep, fair enough. And both that and Into the Shadow both give you chi points.
Yes,
general.
exactly. So when you use Into the Shadow, you gain a couple of chi points. Then you hit someone coming out from the smoke screen, and you get another chi point or stuff like that. And the Tiger Strike is very straightforward. Every time you use Tiger Strike, boom, you get 1 chi point.
Does it work like cleanse? Do you make yourself?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
I wouldn't say you can cleanse yourself from ongoing poison effects, for example. I think that would be too OP.
Okay, so if you're slowed, you'll still be
exactly.
The slow duration is still active by the time you teleport out.
Exactly.
Then it will still be active.
So you're still
Obviously,
suffering
from
damage over time effects, slows, roots, what have you.
Yeah, except for the ones that you can't activate the ability in any way.
That's actually a good point that you guys bring up there. For example, Taran uses Into the Shadow, and then Malfurion plants an entangling roots underneath. Well, guess what? He's going to come back from the smoke screen, and he will be immediately rooted. So it's pretty much to a 7-sided strike sometimes, where you can really predict where Taran is going to come back from. Alright, so there's not only just ups, but there's also downs to this ability. Yeah, unless you guys have any questions, I'm just gonna do the first heroic.
Nope, think good.
Right, and this one is called Shah of Hatred. And, in the lore, Taran was really consumed by his own hatred, because on Pandaria, when you have strong emotions, these emotions will be reflected by Shahs, which is spirit animals or spirit demons, and they will manifest.
They're literally, they're manifestations of pure emotion. They are
exactly
created fairly by old god influence, I believe.
Yeah,
which is the main reason of that. Which I'm not going to say anything more because that actually has a big effect on the story of Pandaria. So I'm not going to say anything more from that bit.
Yeah, and the Shah of Hatred causes Taran to unleash his inner hatred, and it reduces all of his abilities' cooldowns, and also allows him to use these abilities without energy for a few seconds. So you're not dependent on energy level. You can basically just spam the W and the E on a lower cooldown. However, every time Taran damages an enemy with those abilities, so every time you use Tiger Strike or use Into the Shadow and punch someone from the shadows there, he will actually take 20% of the damage on himself, because he's so furious, he's so raging, that he doesn't really have himself under control anymore. So there's a big downside to it as well. You can't use your abilities too often, although in theory you could, because of lower cooldown and no energy costs. But if you do that too often, you're actually going to harm yourself as well. And since Taran is a rather fragile melee assassin, that won't really go too well for him.
Okay, so he really has to
have a good support behind him too.
Yeah, and he has to calculate how much damage he can.
Yep.
Can he kill himself?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, it's pretty much comparable to Gul'dan, although Gul'dan can't kill himself. But I mean, it happened to me quite frequently already that I kept using my life tap, and all of a sudden there was an enemy hero popping up next to me, and I was like, oh damn! If only I hadn't used my life tap there, and boom, there I go.
That was the bug a little bit ago, where basically if you activated life tap while there was a turret shot heading towards you, then you could basically have it pop up on the screen where you killed yourself and your team would get the XP for it, not the enemy team.
Nice. Was
Just
that
because
actually
of the
a
timing.
thing with Gul'dan?
Yeah, it was a bug for a very short amount of time. It
Oh
was
my
super,
God.
super difficult to do. No, so it was literally just like you can try it to see that it's possible, but doing it in game was pretty much impossible.
Didn't even know about that.
It was weird. It was a very weird thing where basically you could, for a very short amount of time, deny on a single hero in Heroes. And that's the thing. What happens if you do kill yourself? Where's the XP go? Will it be the same as Gul'dan, where the XP will go to your team? I assume not.
Right, yeah. So that's pretty much it. Taran can kill himself, very important to note. So careful management of both the energy, the cooldown, excuse me, and the abilities, and of course his own HP pool is necessary when playing with this heroic. The second heroic is quite much more safer. It's called Shadow Clone, and just like Shower of Hatred, it requires Chi to be activated, so you also want to make sure to have a good amount of Chi points at the ready. And Taran basically creates an untargetable and invulnerable Shadow Clone, once again, on his current location. So you stand there, use it, boom, there's going to be a Shadow Clone version of Taran. This clone does not move. It remains frozen in place for a short amount of time. I would say, I don't know, 10 seconds maybe. Let's actually make it shorter, 5 seconds or so. And within that time window, he can reactivate this ability to instantly teleport back to his Shadow Clone. And once he has successfully done that, and the teleportation is over, he gets a 20% movement speed bonus for 2 seconds. Once again, it can be 10%, it can be 30%, depending on how weak or strong this ability would feel. And it's basically like a little bit of an extra mobility ability. It doesn't have such a long cooldown as Shower of Hatred would, obviously. It's a nice disengage tool as well. It makes him very, even more slippery. That was my intention behind it.
It's basically like Demonic Circle.
Exactly, it just doesn't last forever.
Way shorter cooldown.
Yeah.
way
shorter cooldown, and you get the movement speed buff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
Without the actual teleporting aspect of the original Blink.
Yeah.
So it's actually just a return to a spot you were just at, kind of thing. So technically, it's Tracer's Rewind.
Technically, yes.
You have to activate the original point of
exactly.
it.
And you I really wanted Taran to become a hero where you are like a little bit stressed out. You're a little bit frantic because you don't have that clone standing there forever, or you don't have the Into the Shadow smoke bomb screen being there forever. So you have to really use your time wisely and make good decisions. And if you successfully do that, Taran is going to feel like a super strong assassin. But if you don't do that so well, you might actually get caught more often than you would think.
Okay, question. How will this interact with Medivac?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Can you activate it before getting in the Medivac and then activate it at the other end or even while in the Medivac? Or will it just not let you?
While inside the Medivac, absolutely not, because you basically can't use any abilities while you're in that vehicle anyway. But I would say, like, if you activate it shortly before the Medivac departs, the Medivac reaches its destination. It's within a 5-second time window, and then you realize,
oh god,
on it
again. Made a horrible decision. Going
exactly.
Here. Get out.
You just press R again, and you're safe. Definitely true. Yeah.
All right. Cool. I like it.
Nice.
That's basically it. High risk, high reward hero, and I think we could need more Pandaren in the game, to be honest, because they are one of my most favorite races.
I agree. More cuddly pandas. Pandas are cool.
Definitely. Absolutely. All right. Tetcher, defend your title or not? We shall see.
I hope defend it, because you know what else is cool and a race that is not in the game yet? Taranai. Taranai are not.
I thought you were going to say troll heroes.
Trolls, yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Well, there's thousands of trolls in Heroes of a Storm, to be perfectly honest with you, but
not as many as other games. But yeah, so I have decided that, like I said, I was discussing with, and you may see why Bakery was a bit less happy about it, because I have created Maladar, the Exarch of the Arcanai. And for those of you who most of you may know Arcanai from something that isn't Heroes of the Storm or Warcraft. You might know it from Hearthstone.
Oh, yeah.
With the Arcanai Soul Priest, which basically turns all of your healing into damage abilities.
Ah, okay.
So you may see, I've given a bit of a hint as to stuff to come in this one. So for now, though, this is Maladar, the Exarch of the Arcanine. Basically, he is or was, because much like every character in Heroes of the Storm at this point, or nearly every single one in terms of lore, he is dead. But he was a member of the Arcanine, which were originally priests, which were servants of the light in the Warcraft universe. However, they began to dabble a bit more with necromancy, dabble a bit more with the void, a bit with the dark, and they moved over to the dark side, moved over to void powers, etc., and became necromancers in general. And as such, they have the Arcanine Crypts and Arcan Doom, which is basically their own territory where they practice and protect their dead, basically, because they are very, very protective of the dead in general, because the spirits live on.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to build very much around that. I built him around the character in game as well, because he is a raid boss. In fact, he is a boss of the dungeon of the Arcanine Crypts.
Nice.
Which is what is behind me, in fact. So I went very much in terms of his stuff. So I want to start off with his trait here, because his trait is something that happens to him, and it's probably the actually only difficult part of his boss fight, because he's not that difficult to boss. But, I liked him in general, and that is the trait Summon Avatar. Basically, when Maladar reaches 25% health remaining, I'm estimating numbers always, but I usually like to write down numbers because that's visualize in my head.
Exactly.
When he reaches 25% remaining health, he summons an avatar of the Martyred that will guard him, similar to a Gargantuan in style, and that will last until Maladar is out of combat. So basically, when he gets low, Avatar of the Martyred will appear, and it has a physical presence. It looks a bit spectral, but it has a physical presence, and it will start beating on things. It has its own ability. We didn't put that down on here, I don't think. But the ability I gave it Sunder Armor as an ability, because it gives the chance for turnarounds. And Sunder Armor basically, once again, estimating numbers. Every time the Avatar of the Martyred hits an enemy hero, it makes them vulnerable for, I estimated, about 5%, which stacks up to 5 times, up to 25%. It's a very slow, very lumbering attack, similar to a Gargantuan, but it is quite strong. It gives Maladar a chance to escape, because the enemy realize that the more they're going to chase him, the more they're going to have to run through this avatar that's just trying to protect him. It's the avatar of the martyred Arcanine who have died beforehand, and is trying to protect the living.
So,
Okay, when
is
you
this...
say...
excuse me, while I go ahead.
When you say it's like Gargantuan, does that mean you can't really control it, except for the...
guards. You can't control it yourself, it guards what you do, and its ability is a passive, so it literally is a following thing similar to the Gargantuan.
Okay.
Can you attack and destroy this avatar?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Would it be...
It is like, literally compared to a Gargantuan without abilities, it just has a trait.
Cool.
Basically.
Cool. And if it reaches, let's say, I don't know, if the avatar goes 10% health, and you use a healing fountain, would that also heal the avatar?
No. So once again, same as Gargantuan, it is a summon. It wouldn't work in the same way as it would with Misha or with the Lost Vikings.
Cool, I like it. And in terms of visuals, what would we have to expect this avatar to look like?
It is literally just a very ghostly Draenei, quite large, similar to Maladar. Both of them are very large in stature and size. Very large sword because it is sundering through armor as it strikes. A bit slower, very heavy movements as it goes.
Cool. I like it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we can move on to the queue.
All right, moving on to the queue. Very simple. This is what Waller attempted to avoid, but this is part of his main kit. This is the Ribbon of Souls, and that basically inflicts shadow damage in a sort of in a quick beam to the enemy. Just fills them with some souls, because too many souls spoils the brew.
Would it be comparable to our Ala? What the hell? What is the name of the latest hero? Alarak?
Alarak.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
Alarak's E? Would it be comparable to that?
Yeah, but a bit shorter range.
Okay, fair enough.
This is a melee hero intentionally.
Uh-huh.
So it's a little bit shorter range. Like range-wise, I'd say give it maybe to the end of Kerrigan's pull. So give it that range estimate.
Okay.
Seems good.
I don't know why I went for that ability, because there's way other better abilities. I just couldn't think of them. Rexar's Bird. There you go. That's a better example.
And it only affects the target chosen, or does it also pierce?
It's a select target ability. It doesn't pierce anyone along the way. The souls know where they're going.
Cool.
Cool. So coming up next is Soul Scream, because we have a new crowd control mechanic in the game, so I decided to use it. Soul Scream, basically, Maladar lets out a Soul Scream, applying fear to all nearby enemies. I put a timer on there, but there is not really relevant, because like we said, we don't go by times that much. But it is literally... It's in a sort of arc in front of him, going to a bit behind him, because it's an audible ability. It's a sound-based ability, so you're not going to hear it as much behind him. And basically, if you are engaged quite close to him, which you should be as a melee character, you get feared for a little bit, run away from him, and then he can chase you down, or his team can react, or he has a chance to escape.
Cool, I like it. When I first looked at this ability, I was like, isn't that actually mean, because Gul'dan needs a heroic ability for this? But then again, as you pointed out, Tetcher, it's not going to be, it's going to be immediately around him, so you can't really aim it that well.
Very close range. You can't aim it at all, really. It's literally whichever direction you're facing and to your sides, and that's about it.
Yeah, and the fear duration is nearly as long as Gul'dan's Horrify, so...
No, it's not even close.
Yeah. So it's basically more like a disengage tool.
Yeah, it's just like ETC, no fear. Like ETCs come at you, Rexars come at you. I don't want to play with Misha today. Quick fear.
Yeah,
run away. It's a bit of a disengage, because a lot of the melee characters are very much based around engaging that much. I wanted one that has to physically engage himself, because he wants to get his avatar off, but he still needs to live. But the fact is, once the avatar's off, he is very vulnerable as himself. So I want a melee hero that can be based around disengaging and letting the avatar of the market actually get some work done.
Is he going to be a melee assassin or a warrior?
I planned him as a melee, as a bruiser, really. Like either a high health assassin or a low health warrior.
Cool.
I kind of imagine Soul Scream like ETC's W.
A little bit,
in terms of the effect that it has, basically.
Yeah. Just in my mind, it lasted slightly longer, and obviously is based as a fear. It can interrupt as well, whereas the knockback doesn't interrupt everything.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, very straightforward, yet very effective and powerful. I like it.
Yep. So coming up next is one of the main natural damage abilities. Like Ribbon of Souls is a good damage ability, but this is what makes him powerful as a single target focuser, which is what a lot of melee assassins run with. We're not going for huge AoE damage here. We're going for getting onto someone and getting some work done. So this is Stolen Soul, where basically Maladar will select a enemy hero and rip the soul from them.
Nice.
This will reduce their damage by, let's estimate here, 25%. That soul then forms a ghostly being, a ghostly form of that hero that will attack the hero whose soul it was from which it was stolen, doing the damage that was stolen. So doing 25% of that hero's damage. It lasts for, like I said, I estimated times here, 10 seconds, or until the soul is killed.
Cool. So not only do you take damage away from your target, but you also cause this amount to be redirected right at the target.
Exactly. It will use abilities, but obviously those abilities will be lowered. But the whole idea is you have to make big decisions on which hero you want to start using this on. You can either bung it onto one of the higher damage heroes like Kael'thas and have him turn around and start have this ghostly form turn around and drop a flame strike on him, or maybe you want to, which would reduce damage from him as well to the enemy team, or maybe you want to try and focus down someone like a tank, add some CC, which isn't going to do that much damage because tanks overall don't do a huge amount of damage. Drop on EDC, he's not going to hit very hard, but he might get a power slide off, but it's AI controlled, so it's not going to do everything very good. They don't use heroics. I will point that out. That would be very broken.
So it's basically a weaker version of Abatha's copy, but you can't control it.
It's on enemy heroes.
Yeah.
So you can't control it. It just appears and will only focus the hero that it was stolen from.
And I think it can be focused down or killed rather quickly.
It has 25% of their health as well, is what I estimated. It doesn't steal. You don't steal health from the hero, but it has. It's very squishy. It's just if you leave it alone, it's going to do some work depending on which hero you stole. But if you if you kill it, it's going to die very quickly. Nice. And obviously they don't have talents.
Nice. So I imagine this on Murden, for example, and the copy uses Thunderclap. Whoa! Now you get the attack speed slow as well, which becomes really, really powerful. And I have to say, I like it. I really do.
It's his main powerful ability. Like the rest are a lot of self-protection stuff in general, but this is the ability that you set up for a fight. Just like, okay, we want to engage. drop the copy on the highest priority target so that they're going to be distracted by that copy, hopefully for a little bit, so that we can jump in and get some stuff. And this is probably his longest range ability too.
Cool. And probably the one with the highest cooldown as well.
Yes, exactly. Like upwards of 20 seconds.
Nice. Very, very cool. And you can already see that Maladar is that kind of guy who manipulates the battlefield with that mirror image, where this soul, ghost, whatever you want to call it, then he has his own avatars, so he conjures those dark beings or those sinister beings.
He uses powerful necromancy to
Yes.
basically control souls in a way.
I like it. I like it. Zul would definitely appreciate that and approve of
These
that.
two would be best friends.
All right,
so
let's talk
should we go to
heroics then.
heroic number 1?
Yep.
All right, so heroic number 1, once again, we're going for a bit more protection for the hero, because the hero himself actually does a fairly high amount of damage, but we already mentioned has no way of engaging himself. He has to walk in, basically, and wade into a fight. So his first heroic is Become Martyr. Basically, if the avatar of the martyr becomes permanent once it is summoned, and upon reaching 25% health, like we said before, where the martyr would usually be summoned, Maladar enters stasis and gains control of the avatar until the avatar is either slain or they leave combat, in which case he'll be returned to his original form.
Nice.
So he has a second health pool, really, but remember, he loses all his abilities. He's in the martyr. He only has that Sunder Armor ability.
And he, obviously, with stasis being active, he can't be damaged, he can't be targeted.
But he also can't run away.
He also
So
can move
if
himself.
he's on his own, he's just got a little bit of extra time for his team to get there. He can start lowering people, maybe get a turnaround on someone if he's very lucky by dropping enough Sunder Armor on them so that when he comes out of his stasis, he can turn around and smack that person very hard with all his abilities.
I like it. It's basically, it can be an escape in the heat of battle. It can be a nice engage as well, or re-engage, if you will, if you drop down to 25%. I really do like it. I really think it's cool. And we don't have this possession kind of ability in Heroes of the Storm yet, where someone becomes something else upon reaching a certain HP amount.
It's along the lines of an automatic feigned death on Rexar.
Yeah,
Basically, you die and you take control of Misha, where in this case, you automatically jump into that stasis form and let Maladar start beating the crap out of stuff with the avatar.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like it.
Cool. So now we reach the final ability, which is what we've been waiting for, and is the bit that made Bakery a little bit iffy because he's support. So here we go. This is Embrace the Shadow. This is where you select an enemy hero. After 1 second, you get a 1 second wind up time. You're not channeling for this. You select that hero, and there's a little animation of darkness coming in towards them. After that 1 second, for the next 1.5 seconds, once again, all estimated times, all healing and health regen received by that hero will be converted to damage.
Nice.
Oh my god, that ancestral healing damage.
I have counted.
Yes.
Ancestral healing is, I think, 2 seconds wind up.
Oh my god.
Sorry. It's 1.5 seconds wind up. So you have half a second if you see it casting to activate this ability, because that's a 1 second wind up, and you have half a second to activate it to counter ancestral. Very high skill that's the time I estimate there. But you have a very short window of time. Otherwise, you are a little bit guessing, or you see a target that's about to get killed. You know someone will counter it. You know Rex will counter it. You could drop that onto them and try and counter that healing, to counter them being saved. It's very much an executor, or it's a very high target. You're against Muradin. Drop that on him, and he pops stone form. He's made a terrible decision.
Oh my god.
Serious trouble.
I just have this picture in my mind where you cast Embrace the Shadow on a retreating target that is close to their base, to their towers, whatever, and they grab the healing fountain and it kills them. And they're
Okay, so I will say it doesn't convert all health regen that you have over that time to damage. It will only convert the healing that is physically done. So if you have that faint green bar from Malfurion, it won't turn all of that to damage. It will only turn each tick of that healing to damage as long as the ability is active. It's
and when it
not
wears off, it continues to heal.
Yeah, that will continue to heal, and exactly. So you'll be healing versus
right wing would become really annoying to have with you.
Exactly. You can drop it on a low health target. Brightwing goes, think.
Blink, I'm gonna save you. Oh,
Made a bad decision.
And
this
Uther
is actually, I
Uther
imagine,
will
having
probably be very confused and double check if you didn't skill Holy Shock. But I mean,
Uther! Like, I imagine this causing the most arguments amongst teammates, where it's just like, Uther, you killed me, what the hell?
just imagine Uther becoming the ghost and he feels like a hero and he's like, I can heal you, I can still
I'm
save you.
helping! No, stop, Uther, please.
Would that also work on Illidan or Sonya? They
Lifesteal,
are
absolutely.
yeah.
If you're talking about their auto attack lifesteal, yeah, well,
Yeah.
absolutely work at that. That counts as healing. So if it's active on them, each hit will tick down their health that same
so
amount.
they would kill themselves. I like it.
You have that
Yes.
potential. And I imagine this having, seeing as it's a very short duration, having a bit of a shorter cooldown compared to some of the others. It's a very powerful ability, so I wanted to leave it as a heroic, but I imagined it having a bit of a shorter cooldown, potentially used multiple times in a fight, so around 20 seconds as well, maybe a little bit shorter than that.
Nice.
Awesome. I'm just thinking of supporters that would potentially kill their allies, like Morales. She
Morales,
would be like,
yeah, tick. If you,
Oh
like, this is
my
where we
God,
were discussing
yes.
it. This is what we were discussing it on, basically, where I was like, we were talking about Morales because you saw Bakery released an article basically about what he thought of Morales, what he thinks should maybe be changed about her, like how he would rework her in general. He showed me this to he showed me it to go over and see what I thought of it, which bits I approved of, give him some feedback, etc. And I was looking over it, and I was like my suggestion was maybe if you want to make the grenade a bit more impactful, maybe have it as an EMP grenade, where instead of silencing it, maybe saps a bit of mana. And his suggestion was, I'm not a huge fan of that. Snitch said he was very much a fan of that, and I was like, yeah, it's like having an ability that transfers the healing from something to damage. That's a great idea. I mean, is that my next hero? And Snitch was like, that would be great. Like, the Morales target is someone jumps in, your melee assassin Illidan jumps in, Morales is chasing after them, and you're like, Illidan, you've gone too deep. Morales is now killing you, so Morales has the choice of either abandoning Illidan or cancelling the healing and let him take damage, or just killing him. Which is Bakery says he wasn't too sure about it. Snitch says he thinks it's a fantastic idea, but this is the concept we came up with. It was.
Yeah,
We like the idea of
really
just adding
like
a
it.
different mechanic in terms of healing into the game, as opposed to just having healing being relatively unpunishable other than Zul.
and you know what? What you can pick against that? You pick the Treasure Goblin. He doesn't have any heals. He
Yeah,
goes
you
for the
pick
gold
Tassadar,
armor.
you pick
Yeah,
Treasure-
Tassadar,
you pick
exactly.
Tassadar,
You go for
pick,
shields.
Treasure Goblin.
It's basically the same thing as Zul and Immortal Wound. Many people were like, oh my god, you can't have that in the game. It's going to be broken. But guess what? You just pick shields against it. And all of a sudden, it doesn't really look as scary anymore. And
Exactly.
yeah, I like it.
The fact is, it's also quite so low duration. I also imagined the idea of it being cleansable. So you have this intense, very short set, like almost 2-second fight in between an Illidan that's about to die, a Rhaegar that's trying to heal him with Ancestral, a Maladar that's trying to make that Ancestral do damage.
oh my
So
god.
it goes Ancestral, Embrace Shadows, Cleanse. And you have that like almost less than a second fight in between those two heroes to do it, or just dropping cleanse during that ancestral to make sure that it goes off and it's
But
not
you pick
cancelled.
Uther, put the Divine Shield on him, and boom.
Yeah, but the Divine Shield, that would be fine. You get the heal off, it cleanses him automatically.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of counterplay to it, but I wanted to have it a little bit.
I like it.
I wanted to have something a bit different. I wanted to have something that works in a different way against healers, because like we said, healers, they're a little bit one-dimensional at the moment. So having more different healers would be nice, and having more reasons to pick different healers, I think, would be good. And having something that counterplays the big heavy hitter healers, which are currently in the meta, would be quite nice to see.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Would the what it's called, the Embrace of the Shadow, would it be visible for the
Yes.
enemies?
It's visible for both teams, so you can see. It's literally, like I
Okay.
said, it has that 1 second wind up. So you literally see shadows clench, come in from the sides and clench onto
Okay.
that hero. So you can physically see this is the hero that if I heal,
Nice.
I'm now going to be doing damage to.
Nice. Very cool. And I gotta say, Tetcher, this might be a good candidate to cause you to win the title again of...
We'll see.
The-
This is once again a very close one, as most of the shows have been recently.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
I have to agree. And if I had to choose a personal winner, I probably wouldn't know who I go for or who I go for. But I can tell you as much, guys. If you want to vote for your most favorite hero concept, you can do that right now on Twitch. if you're watching on Twitch, that is, or you can do it on YouTube. And on YouTube, it's actually going to be a little bit more comfortable because you actually just click on that video description down below, and there will be a link provided for you guys. So you just click on that, and you let us know which hero concept you enjoyed the most. Is it going to be Volle's Treasure Goblin? Is it going to be the infamous and wicked Maladar? Or is it going to be the leader of the Shadowpan, Taran?
Can I just quickly call out Red and Neon for being a horrendous traitor due to, at the start of the show, he said, Tetcher, you better win, and is now calling for Treasure Goblin. So yes, I saw you, and I am judging you.
You know, he's a regular customer on my stream, and I know exactly what kind of person that dude is. He starts cheering you on when you pick a certain hero, and then when you die, he turns all smiles and giggling, and that's the kind of backstabbing personality Red Neon is. Shout out to you, Red Neon.
I was mentioning rogues earlier. Alright.
Okay. Guys, while I'm setting up the vote for the viewers to vote on, why don't you give us a shout out and let us know what has happened, what is going on, what are your future plans in Heroes of the Storm or outside of Heroes of the Storm. Volle, we're going to start with you.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, and I hope I'm going to get the crown this time. You can follow me on Twitter at Volcarajo. I guess I wasn't thinking when I created that. I guess it's pretty hard for the English-speaking guys to pronounce it, but you can see it down there. Heroes-wise, yeah, you can follow me on my channel. It's the same. It's the same as my Twitter handle, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, long story short, definitely check Volle out, and can't wait to see what we can expect, or which hero concept we can expect from you on the next show. Tetcher, the stage is yours.
I will say just quickly before I give away say anything. You say hero concepts. We did have plans maybe to mix it up a bit for the next one, or one of the ones in the future. We mentioned at Gamescom doing something a bit different from Heroes, which I might not say in case you want it to be a surprise.
Yeah, I remember exactly what you were talking about, and we're going to
do we want to do that next time?
That for the next episode. I like it. Let's do it.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure Volle has no clue what we're talking about. He's just pretending to look smart on camera.
I was thinking about it because it rang a bell, and then I was like, wait a minute, did I talk to Tetcher about this?
I think I spoke to you because I was sure I mentioned it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So something different coming up for next time. But for now. Yeah. I won't go over everything I do. I'll mention the short ones. Check out my YouTube, youtube.com/Tetcher, where I'm doing multiple different shows, including new friendly shows, regular Heroes stuff, and some more casting coming up in the future. Just going to be casting some of the amateur tournaments and also some Go4s just for YouTube, because I'm going back from the streaming studio on Wednesday, so I won't be streaming, so I won't promote that for the moment. But yeah, check that out. Be sure to subscribe to Kendrick's channel. Be sure to vote for me, Maladar. Get very nice. No one ever uses this opportunity to pander for votes. I mean, it's a massively wasted opportunity. But yeah, YouTube and Twitter both are Tetcher, so go check them out. And check out my stuff. If you like me, subscribe and follow. If you don't. I ain't the boss of you.
That's a very nice statement to have to close the show. I mean, Tetcher, both Tetcher and Volle are definitely worth checking out, guys. And if you want Sylvanas to visit you in your dreams tonight, you better vote for Taran. Thank you very much for your attention, and talk to you next time. Yep, that's pretty much how I roll, and I can make it work for you guys. Trust me, I've got the connections to do that. And so, looking forward to...
She's a bit more busy lately. I don't think she'll have the time.
But yeah, either way, guys, I'm looking forward to welcoming you back in the next episode. Can't tell you exactly when that's going to happen, but we're definitely going to aim for 1 or 2 weeks at max. And then, as Tetcher pointed out, and as he announced already, there might be something special, something out of the ordinary coming your way. So keep an eye out for Heroes Chop Shop in the future. Thank you very much for your attention, and talk to you next time.